Ndio tuliitwa na mwanabiashara mmoja hapa. Watuambia kuna mtu ameweka huko Kalofat. Alafu ndio tulitoka tukaenda tukamcheck. Tukapata ni watchman hapa sokoni. Ndio ambulance ilikuja kwa haraka. Hakuwa amekufa. Ndio walitolewa huko na ambulance ikachukua wale wengine walikuwa hapa kwa duka. Wawili walikuwa kwa duka. Ndio ikawapeleka huko Machakos hospital.
Today we hear that on the material day, 6 guards were manning the town's marketplace until some minutes to 3 a.m. when a group of men in police jungle uniform emerged. The group of up to 6 masqueraded as administration police unit patrolling the area, but they will shortly gang them up, tie their hands behind their backs with barbed wires before beating life out of them, and by 3 a.m. the mission to break and vandalize 151 shops had already begun officially.
We used to have a watchman, but our watchmen shida yao ni watu wanakaa pamoja na water moto. Sasa kama hapa hivi wanakaanga pale ile kibanda unaona pale wanakaa hapo pamoja na wanaota jiko hapo usiku. So nikawa wakati venye hao watu waliingia wakawapata huko washika wote wakagongwa.
Hao watchmen
wanakonga wanne.
Dennis Otieno, who manages Enu Supermarket MUUMANDU branch, was a shocked man under pressure to explain to his boss what had happened to her long-achieved investment. Otieno was arrested alongside a number of other people to help police in preliminary investigations.
Immediately niliambiwa hapa ilifektiwa. Nilikuja hapa na kuangalia nikaangalia venye vitu zilikuwa zimeibiwa, so I was very stranded. Immediately the policemen arrived from Machakos. Waliingia hapa na kuuliza manager and the supervisor. So walifanya kuchukua na kupeleka huko kwa cell Machakos.
Tabitha Washera owns an M-Pesa stall in the town that was subjected to the high-end robbery. Tabitha says that she lost close to 10,000 Kenya shillings in cash, her M-Pesa phone and other mobile phones that belonged to her customers and were on charge that night. Heading to a nearby slaughterhouse to sell his cows. On reaching the marketplace, the attackers will tie him with a barbed wire and beat life out of him before
kuhusu nini, akaniambia mzee wako amekutana na wakora wakampiga na wamemuumiza. Sasa kumuuliza kama yuko, akaniambia hayuko.
Jackson Mwange Kilonzo was dead. Josephine says that his 33-year-old husband was a committed family man. His efforts to bring up a happy family could not be overemphasized.
Kufika kwa soko nilikuta watu wengi sana. Hapo nikamwambia nipeleke mahali huyo mzee aliuliwa. Kwenda hapo nikakuta amefungwa mikono nyuma na akaralishwa chini kifundifundi.
Kilonzo had no signs of serious beatings. The 33-year-old farmer had a deep cut at the back of his head. The cut was meant to kill him. But why?
Nikaona tu majeraha yake kwa kichwa na sikuangalia mahali pengine. Nikashikwa na ushungu mingi sana.
As first-hand evidence now reveals, Jackson Kilonzo's killers had the time, the place, and most importantly, the motive to kill the father of 3 that morning. It was not clear at the time what exactly the team of attackers wanted. They seemed to have paid no attention to material goods in their victims' shops, save for one which was seriously looted.
Okay, hapa kwa supermarket hawakuiba sana. Waliingia wakafungua mlango, wakaenda kule kwa bank wakachukua Equity phone na simu ya M-Pesa. Alafu wakaenda kwa pale kwa cash box. Hapo kwa computer wakachukua cash box wakaenda nayo. Okay, cash box ilikuwa tuna makaratasi zilikuwa na pesa. Na pia wale hapo kwa banka hawakupata pesa. Pesa ilikuwa kwa simu. Tulikuwa na 10,800 or something kwa Equity phone, lakini kwa M-Pesa tulikuwa na 3,000 and something.
Back in Nairobi, we are trying to get official communication from Machakos County's sub-county divisional headquarters. We called the OCPD, at which time he says he has gone to rest and had no information on the ongoings of the case. He was only being fed by local newspapers.
Hello, Bwana OCPD.
Yes, please.
My name is Brian Obuya.
Brian?
Brian Obuya.
Yes, Bwana Obuya.
I'm a journalist.
Yes, please.
We came to your offices the other day and we couldn't find you. Apparently you had gone to number.
Mr. Henry Dombi, the DCIO Machakos Sub-County Headquarters, takes us through investigations that law enforcers believe were well done.
From your side, what exactly took place?
Okay. The case you're just referring to is still actually fresh in my mind. That if I can remember well, it was on the night of 13th to 14th. This is when this incident actually occurred. But we received the report later in the morning, around 5:30. that some shops at MUUMANDU had been broken into that particular night. And somebody's body was lying dead just within the center. So actually we mobilized officers. And actually myself, as the DCIO, and my officers, together with the OCPD, the whole team of National Police Service actually proceeded to that scene. So when we reached there, we started gathering the information of what might have occurred.
Police investigators talk of a simple but a more complicated investigation. In MUUMANDU, investigators talk of a town with social differences.
We gathered some information from the watchman. Because one watchman was already injured, seriously injured, had been rushed to hospital. The other person was lying dead somewhere behind the shops, and there were some watchmen who were actually injured, but they had been also taken to hospital. So we gathered some information, and actually we realized that these people came. We are being told they were a group of about 4 to 6 men. As that one was going on, another watchman was killed just in the next center as you come towards Machakos. This center is called KATOLONI. Another watchman, this was just one watchman who was killed. Another day, another watchman was killed just within town, a place called EASTLEIGH. A watchman was just hacked to death. Now this time, there was a quick response by the officers. So these people were attempting to break into a shop. But somehow, the police were alerted, and the police officers on patrol actually rushed to the scene and found that a shop was being broken into. Then somehow they didn't know that somebody had been hit. So later in the morning, we found that somebody had been killed. When we looked at this person, we found he was a known person, a known watchman who had been killed. So this was a puzzle to us, especially me, so as an investigator. What was this trend of, what is this kind of trend of killing watchmen?
A puzzle that made police investigators let our several phone calls go unanswered. Detectives then embarked on a mission to try creating a connection between the attacks in MUUMANDU, KATOLONI, and EASTLEIGH within Machakos town. Attacks that had the undisputable signature of serial perpetrators. Detectives will receive information from the public informing them of what they term as suspicious purchase from a local shopkeeper. That shopkeeper, detectives say, will thereafter become their important lead.
We went to the shop. We found the young man. We interrogated him, questioned him severally, and we got a wind that a full sack of cigarettes had just been dropped there in the morning, around 6, just in the wee hours of morning. Actually, we recovered the same sack intact, and we believe that this was not a genuine purchase from a wholesale market, a wholesale shop or elsewhere. And then we did search in the house and then in the shop. We recovered a uniform, a Janko uniform, full Janko uniform with boots. We recovered, other than that sack of cigarettes, there were so many sacks of cigarettes in the shop. So we questioned the boys so much. Actually, he assisted us also in investigations. He led us also to another suspect. And then the whole case opened up. In fact, we found there so many things, which shoes, so many properties. And we called people from MUUMANDU. Actually, they identified some of them as the ones which had been stolen on the night of 13th, 14th. We went up to another suspect also, and then we recovered some TVs, which had also been stolen in MUUMANDU. Then we connected the cases. We connected these people with the cases of MUUMANDU, KATOLONI, and the town.
That pair of police jungle uniform the government believes is part of a bigger conspiracy and is linked to the spate of attacks in Machakos County. What was even surprising was the single fact that an administration police post is located within the same market, and that throughout the entire night of robbery, violence and bloodletting, there was no response from the chief's camp.
An AP post is within the same market. Was that also part of your investigation? Or?
Yeah, when we started that initially, because
what is your
the initial the AP post is quite some few meters from where these people were killed. But you see, officers were on patrol throughout the night. Not throughout the night, up to around midnight. You know, also these thugs also time officers. If they're elsewhere, they are also planning to be. Yeah. So actually, they responded. They responded to this when they got the report from whoever reported to them. You know, these watchmen were locked into a house, into a shop. Nobody could report to the APs. But a person who had some commotion, in fact, they delayed in reporting to the APs, just by way of a phone, because people feared. Yeah. So if they would have known that this is happening, the response to safeguard those watchmen or the person who was killed would have been very faster. We started the investigations. We went to a shop there which had the CCTV. We retrieved the CCTV, but it took some time for us to get an expert to retrieve the CCTV.
It is that CCTV footage that our desk has obtained, and tonight we can show you how two men are seen breaking into Enu supermarket. They are dressed in what appears to be police jackets. They have hats on. They are armed with pangas, and they don't seem to be in a hurry or a panic mode. They lead their way straight to the cashier desk and disconnect the cash box from the main computer. They will later move on to the banking area. The door is closed, but it appears they broke it using their panga. While inside, the two were captured ransacking through several papers, drawers, and boxes. When they noticed the monitor that reflects the CCTV footage, they disconnect it. Luckily, they failed the technology test and left the digital video recorder. The two men, whose faces at one point are captured on the camera, eventually leave the supermarket with the cash box. None of the other cameras which were operational caught the two beyond the customer area. Within their 15 minutes of action, it appears they never went 4 meters beyond the entrance into Enu supermarket.
Were we able to identify the specific people now that we have very important leads into an investigation? Have we been able to crack down that yes indeed, so and so are the persons we are seeing in this CCTV footage with a slash and a panga?
You see, that is now, as I'm telling you, this case is at an advanced level of investigations. I cannot preempt my investigation so much. I cannot start discussing my case.
It remains unclear what the courageous armed robbers wanted to achieve, since they did not do much in the shops they broke into, including those they so heavily ransacked, apart from stealing packets of cigarettes and airtime.
Let me talk about all these shops. Mlango zote na nia zao hazikuwa za kuiba. Penye waliiba nili duka mwisho kabisa, kule mwisho ndio waliiba mavitu sana, ndio walibeba. Unasikia mtu anabeba mpaka gomba, mtu anabeba mpaka sigara, ameenda na pesa na credit hizo, mpesa za hiyo laini
The shops were still intact, but only what was stolen were airtime, Safaricom airtime, Airtel, and mostly cigarettes. So we were wondering, I mean, what kind of petty thieves are these? They just go for cigarettes, and because these people are not leaving any money behind other than just coins.
2 weeks after that interview, residents of the silent MITABONI town in Kathiani constituency woke up to the shocking news of the death of 5 watchmen. The 5, Mackenzie Muindi, Raphael Muli, Daniel Kitai, Munyao Kakovu, and Dolonga Kimeu were all slashed to death using machetes in the night of horror, whose killings have sent shockwaves in the small town of MITABONI. These killings causing an uproar and protests. The only survivor of the night of bloodletting never witnessed before in MITABONI told journalists of how he ran away after seeing a group of about 10 approaching. Musyoka Muli narrates the story of how he called on the officers at the chief's camp, but they failed to respond to the deadly attack. He says he later hid somewhere in the toilets, but from there, he could hear the groans of his colleagues as they went through a painful death in the morning of August 17, 2016, 2 a.m. attack. (7 2016) rests in the Machakos Law Court's crime office as all attention now focuses on the 16th of September mention and subsequent sittings to establish whether the court believes that the police arrested the right persons, especially because suspicion has been running high in MUUMANDU and other areas owing to extra details that surround the June 13th attack. Some of the stalls were not broken into. Those details, mixed with local differences, went further to heat up the suspicion on who exactly conducted the early morning attack.
Okay, zilikuwa zinafuatana na nika kuna maduka ambazo walikuwa wanachagua. Kuna zingine hawakuingia lakini zingine waliingia. Kama kutoka hapo walianza na supermarket, butchery, kutoka kwa butchery wakaingia huko kwa duka zingine hapo kwa Imani, kwa Imani wakaenda kwa Malimali.
The entire market has got some differences. There are the people who are paying these watchmen, the others who are not paying.
Back in MUUMANDU, 2 guards who survived the June attack have gone dumb. They can no longer speak, making our interview with them to recount what really took place impossible. The killings in MUUMANDU, KATOLONI, and EASTLEIGH had a similar signature. That signature was that of men dressed in police jungle uniform and hats, men with machetes, and those who meant death. However, the killing of 5 watchmen in MITABONI has dropped one of those signatures. The killers did not come in jungle jackets, but other characteristics of those attacks remained in place. Is the killer camouflaging? And why now after arrests have been made? Who is trying to create an air of insecurity and a mark of death in Machakos County? It is clear that the attacks in Machakos and the killing of watchmen are connected. Is there a security company that is trying to communicate? Or is it a political move ahead of the 2017 election? Is it a vigilante grouping like that of Mungiki, Sabaotland Defense Forces, and Sungusungu taking shape in Machakos? And as the country struggles with cross-border insecurity caused by Al-Shabaab, who is killing the locals and specifically security guards of Machakos County in murders that have left political guns